Warning, the following content is likely to be heavily biased and not for child ears. And by child ears, I mean your children. I do not have children. Your children. We're going to be doing a lot of talking, but we do know that our opinions are only opinions, and like noses, sometimes other opinions, not ours, stink. And that's okay. You can plug your nose. You can't plug your ears, though, because you're already listening. Anyway,
What is going on, guys? My name is Jordan. We got Ridge,
What's going on, guys?
and we got Mikey.
hello.
And today, boys, girls, and kids of all ages, we are going to be talking about, finally, James Gunn's Superman. And let me tell y'all, just off the first words, this shit bussin'. This shit hits. Um, so,
Can we all give our first words on it?
yeah, you go ahead and give your first word.
Okay, my first little bit is definitely hop behind in Gun We Trust.
Yeah, for sure.
My first words on it is that's my Superman. I'm probably going to be saying that about it for the rest of the time the movie is around. That's my Superman.
I have to agree with Mikey. This is the to me this is the best interpretation we've ever got of Superman. I mean, the only one that I would argue to be above it is Chris Reeve, but like the embodiment that Corn Sweat takes in as Clark and Superman, like he just radiates that energy, man. Like he took it to a whole nother level. He did everything I wanted Superman. Like he was everything I wanted Superman to be and more.
Well, it's like I told you, Jordan. My opinion on it is that it is very difficult to compare David Cornsweat's performance as Superman and Clark Kent because I feel like it's in a league of its own. I do not feel like it is necessarily above anybody else in terms of grandstanding, and I don't feel like it's below anyone else. It is so wholly unique and so very well done that it stands alone in terms of how spectacular it is.
Oh, for sure. Now, first thing I want to get into this movie. I mean, we're already on the topic of it. Let's might as well keep it in this. You know, Mikey, you said yours, I said mine. Ridge, how what did you think about David Cornsweat's portrayal of Clark Kent?
Well, I mean, I think about the same as everybody else. He is a outstanding Superman.
Yeah, he is.
I don't think they could have casted it any better. Now, take it too. Originally, whenever there was casting going on, Nicholas Holt auditioned for Superman,
Yeah, that would
but
be.
whenever he had David Cornsweet come in, he knew that he had lost that job.
Oh yeah, for sure. The thing,
But luckily, we still had him as Lex, though, because I mean that's a perfect. He was perfect as Lex as well.
yeah. Let's on to the next part of this. Let's talk about Lex Luthor. First of all, man, this Lex Luthor. I mean, I'll have to say it again, and you know, I'm not knocking Kevin Spacey or, you know, the guy who played him in Smallville. I know his first name, I just can't remember his last name. So you know, I'm sorry, but Nicholas Holt brought a whole new level of villain to this version of Luthor, in my opinion. Just because, like, he is so like evil. Like the point, like he just straight up hates Superman. Like even in there's a point in the movie where he's just like, I just hate him. Like just Superman. Like it's exact words. Like he just hates the guy for no reason. And the whole point of the movie was like the whole time of the movie. His whole point of the movie was he was literally for years, for all the years that Superman that had been Superman, he was studying, following every single move that Superman did. I'm talking about down to every single fight move that Superman did, just so he could correlate his attacks the right way and to know to be effective. And it's like,
To any of my fighting game players out there, dude was such a professional hater.
mm-hmm,
And that's something I'm about to touch on too. That's part of the excellent performance he gave as Lex Luthor. a professional hater. If y'all don't know Lex Luthor, the dude is a hater like he's paid millions to do it.
And
He was reading frames, frame by frame. Is like the. It doesn't say that in the movie, of course, but in this metaphor, that's how closely Lex was watching Superman. How much he was studying him, like he was going frame by frame, observing, recording, researching.
In a literal sense, he was too, because we sat there and watched them with these different screens
Yeah.
and these different little robots that were following him around.
Yeah, Mike,
Whenever Ultraman was fighting, I mean, you'd watch frame by frame different pieces were to fight with Ultraman.
I was about to say, Mike, you ain't far. He was like, the amount of cameras that they had on him, they were literally watching frame by frame. So, like, yeah, you ain't far from it, bro.
Well, then, to my fighting game players out there, this is not a metaphor. Dude was literally trying to combo lock and frame lock Superman.
And like his whole speech, dude, like that whole Galileo and shit. Speech,
oh, dude, yes.
That they're gonna be a footnote in my history when I do it. Like they're gonna be nothing compared to me. And like that whole thing he said was awesome.
Like, Superman's speech back. If we're going to get into speeches, the speech he gave back.
Dude, that Superman speech was Superman. Like, that made me want to, like, when I first watched it, because everybody, I watched it twice, you know, I've already seen it twice, so, you know, I wanted to get the good readings for y'all. But the thing is like that, each time, and both times I've seen that, both times I wanted to stand up in that movie theater and be like, that's fucking Superman. Like, that's how Superman is supposed to think. He doesn't think he's better than anybody. Hell, he literally saves a fucking squirrel, dude. Like, in the middle of chaos as they're fighting a kaiju, he saves a fucking squirrel. And like,
I just want to
start things to see.
I actually looked at Jordan during that part of the movie as soon as Superman did it, because I looked at him and I thought, and I was like, man, he didn't lie. Superman really does save the squirrel. But I want to loop back to Lex real quick because I don't want to gloss over this. Lex's comment on envy is so stellar, because one of the side characters, one of Lex's cronies, is like, you know, you sound envious, or it sounds like, you know, you have envy of him. And Lex is like, yes, I do, and I hate him. I hate him for it. And I'm just like, that's literally it. That's perfect.
I mean,
that's exactly like, Lex is a genius, yes, but that's exactly how it is. Lex hates him because in his logical mind, Superman is literally superior in every aspect.
Yeah. And
his ego won't tolerate it.
Now, Rich, did you give your take on Luthor yet?
I mean, I led off with it kind of how I really just enjoyed the character overall. Okay. You know, that is, whenever I think of a villain in comic book form to live action in a movie,
oh yeah,
that's how you want to see them done. You want the person that seems like he came from the comic book and has that hatred. Yeah. And has that pettiness to him. The dude was locking up his exes.
Yeah.
In another fucking dimension.
Just because she wrote a blog about him.
Exactly.
Talk about going ghost on somebody. Holy hell.
Meanwhile, though, in the same fucking realm, he had monkeys posting these fucking same tweets that he doesn't like.
He had millions of monkeys just typing shit about Superman, like hashtag super shit.
Yeah, like he didn't have AI writing shit posts about Superman. He had literal chimps, and he says something else, like when he's, you know, when Superman's being taken there, he says it offhandedly, because Ridge mentioned, you know, that a girl who wrote a blog about Lex got thrown into this alternate dimension. He also offhandedly mentions that governments pay him to keep prisoners here, and he throws this like it's an aside, and also some more personal ones, and then he does name ex-girlfriends, but that also implies people who owe debt.
Yeah.
people who owe debt. Like it just implies that he's embedded in darker criminal circles too. I thought that was chef kiss.
That and the fact that he would just grab people that knew Superman
Yeah. I was just about to bring up Malik.
to kill them
Yeah,
right in front of him.
Yeah,
I don't remember the name of the fella that he brings in, but the dude just ran a hot dog stand.
It was like Malik
Yeah,
Ali or something like that.
yeah, his name was Malik, and he gave Superman falafel once.
And like, but the reason why Lex decided to go after him because whenever he was fighting the Hammer of Barovia, he got shot down to the ground, and Malik went in the hole and helped him out. And even Malik, he's like, Malik, you got to get out of here. And he's like, you saved my life one time, so now it's my turn. And it's like, Lex goes to get this guy to try and interrogate him and kills him right in front of him and Metamorpho. And
Can I say, I'm sorry. Can I say something real quick before we get too far away from it? This is just going to be one more quick Superman glaze.
oh, you're good.
We mentioned the speech that Superman is the returnal to or rebuttal to Lex's speech. These speeches happen a few minutes apart, and they're not necessarily at each other. But when Superman gives his speech about how he is human, he lays something down at the very end that is so equivocally fucking Superman. I felt it in my soul. He says, I hope that even you will realize that this is your greatest strength.
Like being
human is your Lex. I hope that even you will learn that being human is your greatest strength. Oh my God! Sorry, I had to frisbee that one in before we got too far away from it.
No, you're good.
Good, man. Listen, I'm going to swerve off to the side slightly, but this has to do with the fact of what we've seen with Lex. I cannot wait now to see what the fuck we get with Joker in this world. I hope we get Joker in this world. Whether we do or not, I don't know. But if we do, I'm going to love it, I feel like, already. Because just from what we've seen of Lex, you take what Lex gives you and then you twist it around and make it a little bit more fucked up. That's Joker, right? And I hope that we get this version of Joker that looks like the comic book versions, where he has the pointed chin, the green slick back hair, the clown makeup to a T. Give me the actual Joker look, you know?
Yeah, I feel you.
And I think we're going to have something great within that villain. I mean, every villain that we have, I feel confident in, you know?
Yeah.
Like before, I didn't take a lot of these villains seriously. There's only a few that I took serious, and over half the time, the ones I was taking serious were the Jokers. Except for one that we won't get into because we all know that I end up hating the second movie.
Yep.
But, yeah, I mean, I have a lot of confidence in what we're about to get with these different villains. Speaking of villains, I got a theory on one that we did see in this movie.
I think I know what you're going to say, but we're going to wait for them. I want to talk about a few more people before we get to him.
Okay.
Now, we can't bring up Clark without bringing up Lois. So, Rachel Brosnahan played a fantastic Lois. Like, I love, like, that's the problem with, like, previous Loises. Like, I mean, the Smallville Lois was fantastic. But, like, when I think of Lois, like, off the top of my head, I think of Amy Adams because, you know, the Man of Steel movie and all that jazz. But, like, I don't know, like, it was kind of hard to be, like, to like Lois a lot in that movie. In those movies. Like, she wasn't, like, a character that was bad, but it was just, like, I don't know, wasn't fully there for me. But Rachel Brosnahan's Lois, like, she is phenomenal. Like, I don't know. I don't know, it's just the way she played her, the way she portrayed her, the whole struggles that it shows between her and Clark's relationship and everything, and like her, the part where she was talking about how she has troubles with relationships and everything, and all it really took was her to, because Clark, she didn't really understand Clark, because in this movie they've only been dating for like 3 months, and you can see throughout the movie, like the part where she's interviewing him and stuff like that, the tension that they have between each other because of beliefs, pretty much. And the show that whenever she sees him with his family, and like to see where he comes from, and like to see that he genuinely isn't what he is being made out to be, and to see the true side of Clark Kent and not Superman. Like, I loved that. Like, you could just, like, it didn't even need words, man. It was just the acting, the faces, the realizations, I just loved that about how she portrayed that. What'd you think about it, Rich?
I love who they got to play her, but most importantly, I love the chemistry that those two had.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because it was more believable.
Yeah.
Whenever you have two characters that have great chemistry, it just helps everything. And they definitely had chemistry. Mm-hmm. And I loved it.
Mikey, what about you?
It was so fantastic. This is just honestly nothing but a glaze fest for me. But Ridge hit the nail right on the head. The chemistry is out of this world, pun fully intended. Okay, I've such great representation of from David and who Superman and Clark Kent both are, and then you have Lois, who is methodical. She's thought forward. She cares very deeply about her job. Outright comments that she questions everything, and that is a core part of her character and has been since her introduction. That she asks questions. He asks the hard questions, even straight to Superman's face. Yeah. And it's just so beautifully done. It shows her brilliance in terms of mind and compassion without it feeling understated or over exaggerated. Oh man, 10 out of 10, no notes.
For real. All right, now that we got them out of the way, let's talk about the group. Let's talk about the Justice Gang. I want to save Terrific for the last because we got Terrific the most. But let's start with Hawk Girl. Isabella Merced. Though we didn't get a lot of her this movie. We didn't get as much as I'd like to see of her. But we already know she's going to be in Peacemaker because her and Guy Gardner showed up in the trailer. But how do you guys think the casting for Hawk Girl is, and how do you think she was portrayed in the movie? Rich, go ahead.
Why do I always hear Hawk Girl instead of Hawk? Am I the only one?
We're Southern, so
I guess that's what it is. I don't know, but I even hear like other people whenever they say it that aren't from the South. For some reason, I always hear that. Don't know what it is. Great casting, obviously. She'll go on to be a star, especially in the DCU. I mean, the girl is a star in general because of how many different movies she's been a part of.
She played Dina in The Last was fantastically.
Let's not forget, she played Dora.
Yeah.
In Dora the Explorer live action. One of the best movies out there. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I haven't seen it, so I can't give my input on it.
But she was also an Alien Romulus, and she killed that role.
So she's been doing great things all over the place. And I think my favorite scene had to be whenever she swooped up and grabbed the president.
Barovia.
And dropped him.
Yeah, he was like, "You're too soft. You ain't gonna do nothing. You're too soft. You're like Superman." And she goes, "That's where you're wrong. I'm not. I'm not like Superman." Just drops his ass.
And she's like, "That's where you're wrong. I'm not Superman."
Altoids.
I'm glad she did that. That son bitch. I couldn't stand that motherfucker.
I couldn't stand his hair. Just
Nah.
comb it back. Something.
I could just tell that motherfucker stunk. Boy.
Comb them couple of hairs you got on your head. I know there ain't many, but you can slick it back.
Like the part when they do bring Malik to Superman in that pocket dimension. He's like, "I brought you a visitor," and he like said the guy's name, and he was like, "I could, I smell the piss. I remember the smell of piss from when we were flying over the desert." And he goes, "You fucking lied." But on to Guy Gardner. I mean, fucking Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner, man. Fucking
King,
hilarious, dude.
My king, Nathan Fillion in the house.
I mean, everybody, whenever they saw Guy Gardner and they saw the way he looked in the trailer, everybody's like, "Oh, this guy looks like stupid shit." Dude, he was hilarious.
That haircut should be against the code.
I love that part. She's like, "You know what? Your haircut should be against your code." And he's like, "The one against what?"
The one against what? But that's the thing. If you don't know Guy Gardner, that is exactly how Guy Gardner is.
Yeah.
He is the odd one out of the Green Lantern Corps a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And just about every iteration, like, Guy is as goofy as he is stubborn and brave. He's just an odd one out. He's an oddball, a troublemaker, a loose cannon. A lot of the Green Lantern Corps are like, "Oh, geez, this guy." But that's just who he is. He takes his job seriously. He just is that way.
Now, Ridge, what do you think about him off the top of the head?
What 600 and something women say about his hair?
It's 350. 350 to be exact.
350, 600, I don't remember. All I know is it was 100 something.
Now, I will say they did give him the moment that I was like hoping to be like one of the biggest Superman moments in the movie. Like I thought Superman was going to be the one to save the kids and the Jerem Paul, however they said it, Jerem Par or whatever. I thought he was going to be the kid, the one to come in, swoop in, and save the kids. But the fact that he showed up and whenever he's walking by the tanks and just swipes his hand and the fucking middle fingers come out of the ground and shit.
That's exactly what I want from a Green Lantern that has that type of vibe to him, I guess is a correct term right now.
Yeah, like his reputation. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's who he is the middle finger is going to be what he creates. You want me to take you on? I got you a giant middle finger. If I have to take on this giant animal out in the middle of Metropolis, I'm getting some big ass mittens to put on first.
Bro, dude, in the background when they're fighting that fucking spore, while Lois and Clark,
baseball bat.
Yeah, while Lois and Clark is talking, they're just beating the shit out of it with a bat. I'm in the movie theater laughing, and everybody's not laughing, and I just, I was like, damn.
I was laughing. I thought that was hilarious. Something else I want to say. I'm sorry. Something else I wanted to comment on when it comes to Guy Gardner is that if you know DC at all, you know the Green Lanterns. If you have any kind of like base level knowledge, you know that the Green Lantern Corps' main source of power is willpower, right?
Yeah.
And that's something I think maybe a lot of people kind of look over when it comes to Guy. They see him as goofy, as stubborn, as a loose cannon. The key word there is stubborn. Guy Gardner is a fantastic Green Lantern because he's so stubborn. Because he's willful like that.
Now, Ridge, I know you haven't got your piece on Guy Gardner yet, so go ahead.
Well, I mean, I kind of did because I was saying that's exactly what I was wanting from Guy Gardner was whenever he has these giant middle fingers coming up out of the ground, couple of fists here and there, but also making sure that every one of the tanks is getting the birds flown in. Now, I will. I want to go back to something too that has to do with Lois Lane. Is that I love the scene in while she's in her comes into the apartment, and Superman's down on his luck because we just got through him figuring out about the news of the rest of what that video of his parents actually said.
Right, and we'll get to that, guys. Like after we do the individual character thing, I'll bring up that
right.
part.
But so I love though that whenever we see the Justice Gang in the background sitting there fighting that giant creature, how she just is looking out there occasionally. I'm looking back at Superman like you're not going to go out there and take care of that with them.
He was like,
"No, they got it." It's like that's a human reaction right there, and I get it. We've had these different beings around Metropolis for a long time now, but it's amazing to see that it's still one of those like thoughts that's going through the head of, well, you're the strongest out of the bunch. Shouldn't you be helping more so?
Right.
So I love seeing that.
And that plays into Clark's character in this movie is like he had so much faith in his friends to take care of that situation that he was just like, they got it.
Well, not just, I don't think at the time, especially at that time, I don't think it was that or that he had trust in it. I think that he was just so much down at the time that he probably didn't care as much. Because a lot of whenever we see him fighting the Kaiju, he doesn't want to harm it. He just wants to take it away from the place and try to save it and, take it off somewhere so it can be studied on or in a intergalactic zoo.
Yeah.
Something. So, I mean, Superman at that time, I think he's just so down on how his emotions are that he don't really care what's going on out there.
Right.
So, but that and another thing though with him is he probably does have a lot of trust in him because he puts trust into a lot of people from the way it sounds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's very trusting. Something else worth touching on in that scene, before that, we know that Superman trusts them to handle it. It's not fully a matter of trust. It's before that we kind of discovered that his friends, the Justice Gang, sort of turned their back on him after the second part of the message gets out and the truth is revealed. They're looking at him like everyone else on the planet is looking at him.
Yeah.
Like he's a fraud.
And
that's part of why he feels down on his luck, because he's starting to wonder. Is not starting to wonder, but there's a small piece inside of him that we can glean through subtext that does feel like a fraud. He's been lied to too, and that wounds him just as deeply.
Now, one person that did stick around and did help them out was arguably one of the MVPs of the movie, and that's Mr. Terrific.
King.
Let me tell you, Darwin got his motherfucking. He got his damn credit, bro.
He got his get back for real.
If you don't understand that, the actor who plays Mr. Terrific was in X-Men First Class, and he got killed off in the middle of the movie. They were supposed to bring him back, and they never did. So, this role for Edie was, a big, it helped him out a lot. He said it for what Marvel did to him and Fox, not Marvel, but what Fox did and not bring him back like they promised. He was able to have another role that took place of that, and now he's a big point in this franchise already, and with them already talking about giving him his own series. So, I'm all for that. Mr. Terrific was absolutely fantastic. He played a great role in this movie. I'm glad that he was in this movie as much as he was. I thought he was the best looking out of the gang, like suit wise. I thought he just looked fantastic. And the short little comedy bits. He was such an unk, bro. He had such unk energy in this whole movie. Like just the dumb looks that he would give people, and like the small looks. Like at the end of it, when he's going into Luther's thing to close that fucking rift, and the guy's like, he's like, let me do it, and he's like, nah. He comes by, he's like, bro, get away from me. He's like, I'm goddamn Mr. Terrific. Goddamn it, what you mean, man?
I fucking love him, dude.
It's just the way he said, just the way that I'm goddamn Mr. Terrific. The fuck you mean, bro? Like that's so bro. Like, and it's just like the Lois was like, get you like your circles. And he's like, circles? That's a T-spear. He goes, circles are flat.
He's like, spheres are 3-dimensional, circles are flat.
And it's so funny for him, like Mr. Terrific, to say something like that, because if you don't know, Mr. Terrific's arguably one of the smartest people in the DC universe. So it's like, you know, of course it just sounds like some shit he would say, like, motherfucker, ain't no circles, a spear, god dang it. But what y'all think about Mr. Terrific? Mikey, go ahead.
I thought he was terrific. Pun fully intended. Again, I can hear
Say
the
that
eyes
again?
rolling. Terrific. Also, never reference that movie to me ever again. No, I loved him. I loved his presence. I loved his look. I loved Darwin when he was in the X-Men movies, and I felt like he got done so disgustingly, so terribly. And then again, not just in the movie in terms of the character, but like also in real life, he got the shaft.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy to see him come back as Mr. Terrific and perform not just outstandingly, but also get his own personal get back. Like this makes up for what I went through.
Yeah.
And as far as the character goes, I go into a lot of movies, gang, with no expectations, because if it's a movie I want to like, I don't want to go in with any preconceptions. I don't want to go in thinking it's going to be something and then be disappointed. I'd rather go in nothing and be either amazed or pleasantly surprised or just disappointed. But at least I went in not knowing what to expect. That's the way I treat these kind of things. And let me tell you, if the movie wasn't called Superman, you could have fooled me into thinking it was about Mr. Terrific, because he's the power, the presence, the pros, his stance, his fit, hard.
I'm gonna say
Dude
this.
was just out here.
I have to bring this up. I've seen this actor in a lot of things. I mean, the main things that, you know, the first thing I can think of, top of my head, Twilight. He was in Twilight movies. He like played the bat, like he was in with the Bad Three, Victoria and whatever their name was, but he was like the one with the long dreads and everything. But I've seen him in that. I've seen him in X-Men. And the one thing that just surprised the fuck out of me is dude's fucking jacked. Like the scene where they're in the Hall of Justice and he's just sitting in that chair wearing, like, you know, not wearing his jacket, he's just wearing that shirt that he's wearing under it. Like, dude's actually built, and that's the thing, is like we've seen him in X-Men and he wasn't like, he was pretty built, but the thing is he was fucking ripped in this movie. Like, he was like, I don't know if it was the shirt or what, but it just looks like he was jacked. So, you know, I'll give him props for that too. Because, like I said, I've seen him in other things. He's never looked that big. So, but Ridge, what do you think about him?
Okay, so y'all have said everything I just about could say on this fella, because it's all true, right? The only thing I can put my 2 cents in on is that if this movie was done earlier on, like 20 or so years sooner, it would have been Samuel L. Jackson in that role, I feel like, because it had the exact same energy as Samuel L. Jackson. That's why I was thinking the whole time. I was like, that's just younger Samuel L. Jackson in that role.
Yeah, I can definitely feel that. He definitely gives off that kind of vibe. Yeah, I mean, there's a few actors if I really thought about that really could have gave him a spin back in the day. Yeah, but Sam Jackson, I can get that vibe.
It was just because of the lines that were given.
Yeah.
Of how something small being like, you know, they're not circles or spheres, 3-dimensional. No, I'm Mr. Terrific. I don't need your help. God damn it. You know?
That's the thing is like
Simple shit.
It's the Unk vibes. Like it's just like it just reminds me of a fucking ornery ass Unk. Like that's the way he reminds me. It's just like because if you look, he's always tired of like other people's opinions. He's just like, okay, so man,
Exactly. Like Samuel L. Jackson. That's the reason why it gives me that vibe. Is because that's exactly, how he does.
And the thing
So-
is like it makes sense for Mr. Terrific to act like that because he does know pretty much everything. Like he's smart as a motherfucker, and like even the part when he was talking about putting the nanobot whatever in Superman's bloodstream or the nano tracker in Superman's bloodstream, and they were like, you put stuff in your friends' bodies, and he was just like, yeah, I do it to everybody. And it goes back to Hot Girl, and she's just like,
So,
but yeah.
do you think with him mentioning that, do you think that takes the idea kind of from like, I can't remember what Batman comic it was, but where Batman had a chart or whatever on his computer that told of different ways to kill people, including Superman, and then it turned out they also had a plan in place for him to also be killed, and that was Superman.
That's crazy. I didn't know.
But instead of it being Batman that has this in this universe, it's Mr. Terrific because he somehow sneaks these little nano whatevers in everyone.
It can make sense that he has something for everybody. Like, I mean, Mr. Terrific's so smart. Like, especially this iteration is like he could just have just probabilities on just in case something happens. Like in case something happens and they turn or go AWOL or whatever, this is the way that we can get rid of them. Like instead of trying to figure out what the fuck they need to do, he has plans just in case.
Right.
But before we get on to the story, I got to bring up, two more people just because they both played roles in this movie and they're not going to be too much, but I do think they deserve to be brought up. First of all, Metamorpho. I thought he wasn't in it like a lot, but I thought he played a really good role in this movie. A very important part in this movie, and if it wasn't for him, a lot of the movie wouldn't have really continued, really, I guess you could say. I'm glad they gave him that character development that he didn't really want to be the one keeping Superman in this tank, and whenever it took him watching Luthor kill Malik in front of him to really be like, nah, I can't do this. This is not right. And, Superman promised to get baby Joey. And, we got that whole scene where they were trying to escape that pocket dimension and him trying to protect Joey. And it was a great scene. But what y'all think about Metamorpho?
Man, again, just to parrot myself from what I said earlier, I went into this movie not knowing what to expect. I knew we'd see Metamorpho in it. He blew me away. He blew me away. There were parts where I felt like even Metamorpho was a little understated. But how criminally cool.
Yeah.
There were so many depictions of characters in this that felt so true, so correct. And Metamorpho is one of them and a long list of them. He, just from being in the cell and very clearly not wanting to be there, but being held against his will, having no true desire to hurt Superman, but being forced to anyway with his child at literal gunpoint. And it's not until Malik, the character we referenced earlier, the one who gave Superman falafel, is straight up executed in front of him and Superman, that he realizes, oh my God, there's no way I'm getting out of here. Not me, not my son. Lex is a liar. He's going to kill us both. And so that's when he starts to help, because he realizes Superman is his only hope for not only getting out alive, but also keeping his child alive too. Holy smokes, gang. Holy
And
smokes.
Ridge, what do you think?
I love Metamorpho. It's just one of those oddball characters that you don't find, or you don't think is it going to be that important, or is it going to have that great of a piece to it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But come to find out, that's one of those characters that you just absolutely love having there. Just like with, I can't think of the Spots character from, it's the exact same feel,
Yeah.
No, from the Suicide Squad.
Oh, Mr. Polka Dot Man, yeah.
Polka Dot Man, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
on that.
And this is this dude's like third time in something DC related. By the way, I don't know if y'all realize that or not. He was in Gotham and in The Flash on the CW.
Yeah.
And also in Twisted Metal.
Yeah.
So this dude got a lot underneath his belt, and he's just great every time.
I can't. Oh, I forgot one group of people, but they're all so short. And gotta talk about how fantastic Ma and Pa Kent was portrayed as well.
Oh my God!
And the thing is like they didn't need to be a focal part of this movie, though they are an important part of this movie. They are not a focal point of this movie, and the fact that the only thing that they really needed to show in this movie with his parents is how loving they are of him. Like the fact, like after they get Superman out of that pocket dimension and everything, he's got kryptonite poisoning, and they have to take him to his parents' house. And just the love that they show to him when they're like just laying him in the bed, both on each side, holding him, and that's plays into the part of how Lois realizes how true, like how human he actually is, and the like bringing up the speech that Pa Kent gives Clark, the whole parents shouldn't decide who their kid grew up to be, and that whole speech he gives to him was chef's kiss. Like, it was done beautifully. It was what the movie, needed when it comes to a speech that Superman needs to realize how important and that he's doing the right thing. And I just love the way they're portrayed, and it feels close to home. It feels like an old couple that you would see out here in Tennessee, and I just love that. What did y'all think, Mike?
Listen. As somebody who was raised by his grandparents, gang, I might get just a wee bit emotional when I say this. As somebody who was raised by his grandparents, I've never felt so seen.
Yeah.
I've never felt so seen. See, my mama and papa are very, very good people who have blessed me. I'm not going to linger that on too long. That's my personal thought. But what I'm trying to say is seeing Pa Kent being stoic, listening to his wife ramble on the phone as she leans far too close to the speaker trying to talk to their son. He's just working on something. He's doing the typical old man stuff, like looking at her like she don't got to be that close to the phone, like she don't need to be yelling.
Tell him not to be a stranger.
Yeah, tell him not to be a stranger. And then we see Pa Kent with Clark. And it's a completely different animal. He's a completely different man. Anybody who knows Pa Kent knows that he's no stranger to trouble. He's born and bred to be tough. That's just the way he is. He's stoic and won't back down in the face of adversity. But with his son, he's a different man. He is soft. He is loving. He's compassionate. Even Ma Kent says that he only really gets this emotional with Clark.
And like
he calls him mush.
It's like,
he calls him mush, like mushy, soft.
Like Mikey said, when you first see Pa Kent, he's just fixing something, and he's just, he's like, just okay. He's just there. But whenever he's speaking, like whenever they bring Clark into the house and laying him in the bed, he's crying. He's he's worrying about his son.
He's tore up.
And it brings emotion to my heart because it's just You know, it just shows the love. And I told Brittany whenever I first watched this movie, I've never seen a depiction of love from parents before like that. Like I could just feel it. You know.
For that to be Paul Kent's depiction in this movie struck me so deeply on a personal level because I know exactly what that's like. My old man, my papa, is like that.
Yeah.
Stuff, kind of crabby, little rough around the edges, likes being sarcastic and dry humored, but he's soft. He loves me very deeply, and I know that. And then there's Ma Kent, who reminded me so much of my own grandmother, gently poking and prodding. My own grandmother calls me often asking me if I'm okay, if I need anything, if everything's all right, when she don't need to, when she doesn't have to. And I saw that in Ma Kent. And then the way she gently pokes at Pa Kent, I see that between my own grandparents. How she, when her husband is emotional or upset, that she does transition to the role of the stone, being very motherly and caretaking of both the men she loves very, very deeply. I just, Ma Kent and Pa Kent were shown as angels in human flesh to me, and I relate to that very deeply. So, 10 out of 10, no notes. I love you, Mama. I love you, Papa.
Yeah. Now, Ridge, how'd you feel for Mom, Pa Clark?
I love the way they interpret those characters. Now, at first, I will say, whenever I first heard them, I thought, "Oh shit, here we go. They're about to try to make them have a really thick accent when they don't need it."
Right.
But after the first little bit, it did get a lot better. So I was very happy with that, and just overall, it was really good.
They made their like the way they spoke. I mean, like the dad didn't have a like a really deep southern accent, but the mom did, and that feels so like it feels so close to home. Just because especially around here, I feel like we got a whole shit ton of older ladies who got really deep southern accent than the older guys that is just there. Like the woman does all the talking, but the older guy stands in the back, but he's there when you need him type of person. Like that.
Yeah, the old hen does the clucking, and he just stands back and waits.
Yeah. That's just the vibes I got off of them, and like I said, it feels close to home. Did I cut you off, Ridge? I didn't mean to.
Oh, you're good, man. I didn't have that much anything else to say about it.
And the last person I feel like we need to bring up, and I'm going to call him a person because he deserves it, Krypto the fucking super dog. Dude, Krypto.
Good boy. Good boy.
Krypto was the heckinest boy in this movie, man. He was there when Superman needed him and more. Like, though he, hurt the fuck out of him at the beginning of the movie, he was still there. It's just, I love the way they portrayed that he's just a rambunctious ass dog. And, like, the whole, like, whenever he's in the Fortress of Solitude at the beginning of the movie, he's just like, Superbots, what the heck is this? And they were just like, we don't care if he dies, bro, just to be honest with you. And it's so real, like, just how he's just like, he's made of flesh, and we don't really give a shit if he dies or not. But yeah, Krypto. I'm sure all of us quickly say how much we like Krypto.
What a good boy. 10 out of 10s. Here's a box of milk bones. Go crazy.
And the fact that, Krypto is based off James Gunn's dog just makes it even better. I think it adds the love of the character more. Like, it just makes it feel more loved and makes him feel more deserved to be there. But, Bridge, before we get on to the plot, you go ahead and... What'd you think of Krypto?
Krypto actually feels... Well, they did with everything else. They did it right. Krypto feels like a dog should feel. You don't see him. Well, yeah, you see him using super speed, and you see him using his strength whenever the bad guys break in. You don't see him using heat vision. You don't see him getting up on his hind legs or something to drop kick somebody. You don't see nothing crazy. You just see Crypto being a dog and playing around, and whenever he sees his owner, loving on his owner, what a dog does, and especially one that's a little bit rambunctious and doesn't necessarily have the proper training from the beginning because of their actual owner. We'll get into that later, I guess, too. It all fits for that dog,
Yeah.
That's how that type of dog will react. That type of dog will get rambunctious and bite at your ankles,
Yeah.
pounce on you even while you're hurting, lick your face, lick a baby's face, do everything that dog is supposed to do.
But yeah, pretty much. I guess we'll get into the plot of the movie now, and I won't go too deep into it. But pretty much, like we said about Lex and everything, is just from the beginning. Lex has been hating on Superman, and we talk about Barovia and Jornapar, however you say it. I kept trying to remind myself how to say it during the movie, but it's Jornapar. But it pretty much says in the beginning of the movie that Superman stopped a war between Judapar and Barovia, and Lex is attacking with a fake villain from Barovia to make people think that Superman caused this. But the point of the story is Superman has a video message of his parents that got destroyed while he was on his way to Krypton, and when Lex and them got into the Fortress of Solitude, they finished the message, and it pretty much said that Superman was sent to rule over Earth, pretty much. And it wasn't faked. That's how it was. And the point of the whole rest of the movie was pretty much Luthor trying to condemn him of that and trying to get him killed over that, when Superman is trying to prove that he's not that. He's not what people now believe that he is after the video of the rest of the message was let out. And what do you guys think about that twist? Like, what do you think about the twist of his parents sending him and pretty much telling him to rule over Earth, and if nobody abides, take him out and have plenty of wives and shit like that? What do you think about that?
I
like it.
Oh, go ahead, Rich.
My bad. I like it. I mean, whenever I think of a planet that's about to be destroyed, that has these meta-humans on it that are twice as powerful as us,
it makes sense.
Why wouldn't they say, okay, we're going to send off our son because we know one day if he listens to this message and plays it back, he'll know what to do and he'll abide by what we say, because we see him do that originally. We see, until he figures out the rest of that video, that because his parents had to watch over this place and to love it because they aren't as strong as you and that they need you, he abided by it. Could you imagine if he would have heard that whole video from the get-go? What if he heard that whole thing and did exactly what he was told?
I'm going to tell you another movie that if I'm not wrong, James Gunn did it too. Let me make sure if I'm wrong.
Brightburn?
Never mind, he produced it. Yeah, Brightburn. Brightburn is the exact interpretation of that.
Right. So, I mean, it makes sense, why wouldn't you? If you wanted to repopulate your culture, why wouldn't you look for a weaker planet to take over? If you can do it, that's definitely an option,
And it makes more sense to say that instead of sending him just because it's a safer planet and it's not being destroyed, Like, it makes a lot of people bring up this comparison, but think about how Goku was sent to Earth, right? And like how Goku was just sent to Earth because it was a faraway planet, and he would be safe.
Mhm.
But
Let me say this: I've got a comparison to another piece of media that when I learned watching the movie what the rest of the message was supposed to be, instantly reminded me of Invincible.
oh yeah, for sure.
The Viltrumites. That is their whole thing. Their planet didn't die or anything. I'm not going to stay too stuck on it. But their planet didn't die anything, but they are militaristic warmongers,
Right.
hell bent on conquest and expansion. So much so that there's literally a character called Conquest. But that's their whole thing. That's why Omni Man, Nolan Grayson, goes to Earth to sire a child and prepare the pacification of Earth for the Viltrumite Empire. That's what that immediately reminded me of.
Yeah, for sure. Now, at first, I didn't know how I would feel about the story because I didn't know if it would make sense. But as we clearly said, they made it make a lot of sense, and I think it helped. Like it helped them to show the character of Superman. You know what I mean? Like he's built this character of I'm here to protect and serve the people of Earth. I'm here to be a symbol of hope. I'm here to help them. I'm not here to rule. I'm not like that. And the fact that like even after he hears that that's why he was sent to this Earth by his biological parents, he's still like, no, I'm not like this. Like this ain't me. Like he could have been like, oh yeah, word. I guess I'll do what mom and dad want me to do. But he was just like, no, that's not me. Like I can't do that. I will not do that. Like even though the world tried to turn on him, he still didn't, Like even when, like Guy Gardner got in his face about it and he was like, look, if this is true, you are the exact type of thing that the Lantern Corps made me a lantern for, And I just loved how they used that to show his true character, and I think it helped amplify to show that, Let's see. Now, to a point that we haven't brought up yet, we had the Engineer and we had Ultraman. Engineer, we pretty much saw all her big moments or whatever in the trailer. Though she was still cool, thought she was a great character and an important piece to the movie, we got to talk about Ultraman. Now, Ridge, what do you think about Ultraman?
Go to me last because I have a theory behind Ultraman and what happened to him.
Good, because I think we have the same theory, but I'll let you say it though. Mikey, what do you think about Ultraman?
I was like, Barovian Fist, huh? I thought we were getting at first I thought we were getting an original villain,
Right.
But what threw me off the whole time, I was like, dang, this dude in a suit of armor is whooping Superman. Who is this Barovian Fist character? And then in the movie, it's revealed that Lex is not only just like telling him what to do. So then it implied to me, and I was like, oh, this is some dude who's working for Lex. And then the guy comes out of the armor, and I see that big ass U on his chest. I had his ass clocked. I was like, that's Ultraman. Before they even said his name, like I saw the U, and I was like, yep, that's Ultraman. I was like, Superman has a clone.
Yeah.
Oh shit! The clone's in this movie.
Yeah.
As far as Ultraman goes, I feel like his presence in the movie doesn't need to be like watching it, right? I didn't feel like his presence needed to be there the whole time. Not that it was,
right.
But what I'm trying to say is his presence.
Ultraman was a weapon for the real villain of the story. He wasn't like a villain. That's the way it felt like to me. Yeah, he was a villain of this movie, but he didn't really feel like a villain of this movie just because he was the weapon of the villain in the movie. You know what I mean?
Right. Like here's an example. Lex is in the Pentagon. He's showing all these dignitaries stuff. General Rick Flag's there. All that. Right?
Right.
And when his presentation's over, he like snaps his fingers or makes a gesture, and Ultraman leans over and turns on the lights. That's all I'm going to say about this scene. Now the metaphor. Imagine, if you will, you're sitting in a room and a guy has a business deal for you. There's a loaded gun on the table.
Right.
This is the end of the metaphor.
Yeah.
What you said, Jordan, is picture perfect. Ultraman was understated throughout the movie because you don't need to overstate a weapon to know it's in the room with you.
Right.
That some guy has his hand on the trigger and that all of you could be Swiss cheese and a few moments that he wanted. He was used as an intimidation tool, as a pacifier. He was used like a weapon.
And to prove my point on that, on Ultraman just being Lex's weapon in this movie and not really he was a character but not really a formidable character, is Lex was literally telling him what to do the whole time. Like when they're fighting 13A, 10Y, like he's yelling out commands because they're watching the whole time, because they know Superman's every move. He's got a whole ass fucking team who knows Superman's every fucking move. So like the fact, to the point when, you know, Superman realizes that's how they're controlling and everything, he tells Krypto, get the toy. And like he gets after the cameras, and that's when Superman starts wailing the goddamn ever living shit out of Ultraman. And we gotta talk about like how, you know, how they got rid of Superman dislocating his fucking shoulder and like just popping out of that socket and throwing him into that bus that was falling. Now, Ridge, we are to that point where you can say what you're going to say, because I know what you're going to say. Go ahead, big dog.
Okay, I'm sure you do. So, I kind of want to tweet James Gunn and ask him if that was actually the last time that we see Ultraman, or are we going to see him again?
Oh, we going to see him again.
Just not underneath the name of Ultraman.
Which,
because I think...
Yes. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
I think what... No, you get... Well, I think it happens with Ultraman is that because he went into, quote-unquote, a black hole. Right. He went into another dimension that has him upside down because he is now going to be our Bizarro.
Yes.
We are finally, eventually, at some point later on down the road, we're going to get Bizarro. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what Slater's hoping for. I don't know if that's what Mikey's hoping for or not. But I've been waiting a long-ass time to see Bizarro in Superman.
He was in Superman.
In a movie.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, first off. Second off, in a really... Like, I want that purple fucking suit.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry about the technical difficulties. You'll see a cut, but I had something happen on my Wi-Fi. It went weird, so I apologize for that, guys. But Ridge was talking about how he's excited to see, like, we're excited at the possibility of Ultraman being Bizarro. And I was saying, it's fucking wild that you think that, because you can even ask Mikey on the way home. I straight up said that I don't think that's the last we saw Ultraman, that I think he is Bizarro. Like, I straight up said that to Mikey, 100%.
I feel like it makes so much sense not to make him into Bizarro, you know?
Right, because even if you think about it, in the comic books, like Mikey said, Ultraman's like a, you know, he's a clone of Superman, but he's also a alternate universe version of Superman.
Right.
So the fact, like, that gives them the opportunity to eventually bring back, you know, Ultraman, but the actual version of Ultraman, you know? Like the alternate universe version of him.
Gives us the opportunity to have Bizarro in the DCU. And that's what fucking matters.
Now,
to me, at least. That's one of the things that matters with Superman.
We don't have too much more to say on the movie. We've said pretty much the main, a lot of the main points. One thing I do want to, one part I do want to bring up, we should also bring up the mid-credit scenes, or the mid-credit and after-credit scene, because one, I forgot. We didn't stay for the very last one. I saw it, but Mikey didn't, so I didn't even tell him what it was. But But the first mid-credit scene was just Clark and Superman and Krypto sitting on the moon looking at the Earth. It was nothing crazy, but it was a beautiful shot.
Krypto wasn't looking at the Earth.
No, Krypto wasn't looking at the Earth. Superman, he was loving on Superman. But it was still a very beautiful shot. You know, I'm glad we got to see that. But the second after credit scene, it was right after the events of the movie ended, where they were standing in the streets right after the battle, and Mr. Terrific and Superman are standing looking at this building that is now unevenly put back together from the rift, and they're just standing there looking at it, and Clark is just like, it looks off. And Mr. Terrific is like, what do you want me to do? Put it, take it apart, put it back together? And he like kind of walks away and like kicks the rock, and he's like, God dang it, motherfucker. And he's just like, and it just cuts back to Clark, and he's just like, I can just be mean sometimes. But they nothing like super crazy to in the after credit scene, because we did have a couple cameos in the movie, and one was quick. We got Peacemaker that was talking about Superman, and just a quick little word from him, and it was nothing crazy, but we got to see him. It was funny. But the real cameo of the movie was at the end of the movie. Superman's getting ready, I guess, to take in some sun and heal up. And Krypto's real owner shows up to the Fortress of Solitude, which turns out to be Millie Alcock's Supergirl, Kara El. And, the way they portrayed her so far, she's a party girl. She likes to go party on different planets because, the yellow sun gives them that insane metabolism. So she goes to planets with a red sun and parties and gets drunk. But, it was cool to see her because I believe the next movie in the DCU lineup is Superwoman or Supergirl. So I thought that was a pretty cool cameo, and I thought, I was excited that we saw her because I really didn't think we would. And I think she, her suit looks great. She looks great in what we saw of it, and I think that she can do a good job off the little snippet we saw. Ridge, what do you think of her?
I am legally not allowed to say what I think of her.
Bruh.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Listen, I thought they did a great job with that character, and I cannot wait to see what they end up doing in her movie. And I think my main excitement for that movie is Lobo.
Oh,
I think that's my main excitement for the movie. Not that I'm sure they'll somehow win me over on Supergirl, but my main excitement is with Lobo and having Jason Momoa playing Lobo.
For sure.
It's the best thing ever. And I imagine he's just going to be that little devil on her shoulder the whole time, but in a lot larger form.
Yeah.
So that's going to be great. And I think that, of course, they nailed the suit because, it's kind of hard to mess it up whenever you have Superman's suit. And it's just the exact same thing except with a skirt,
Yeah.
and minus the underwear on the outside. That'd be weird on a skirt. But anyways, I digress. And can I also say real quick that you have missed another cameo?
Oh, you talking about Will Reeves?
No. Talking about Superman's dad.
Oh yeah, Bradley Cooper. My bad.
Jeez.
I should have said it earlier. It crossed my mind, but you didn't see much of them because they were just that message of his.
No, you didn't. But it was still there.
Right. Bradley Cooper played Jor-El in the message, so that was really cool. Sorry I didn't mention that, but yeah, Bradley Cooper was Jor-El. There was also a Gotham City street sign, by the way. I forgot. I saw that this time. I didn't see it the first time.
I didn't see it.
But Mikey, what'd you think, man? What'd you think of Supergirl, seeing her?
It was actually a little interesting. I am used to the renditions of Supergirl that we see, bright,
You're right.
eager, willing, and I don't feel like that's lost in what little we see of Supergirl here.
Right.
She is Superman's cousin, but she is. What I'm trying to say is I like the individuality. It's
Right.
very easy to slot any character whatsoever into some kind of box, and that's not always necessary. And that's something I actually I halfway brought up on the ride home, Jordan, is that characters don't need to be one way.
Right.
Characters can be multifaceted. That's what makes characters believable. It makes them people. And Supergirl being a party girl or going to planets where there is a red sun so she can party and have a good time is human.
Yeah.
And not in the I can fly to space and go to a planet with a red sun and not die, but wanting to have a good time, partying, having fun. That is human.
Especially considering everything that she's seen in her lifetime up to this point.
Because she's older than Superman. That's one thing you got to remember. Like, I don't know if they're going to use that in this version, like this interpretation of Superman, but she's supposed to be older than Clark. So,
well, you got to remember, she grew up on a fragment of her own planet and seen a lot of people get slaughtered for the 14 years that she was there.
Right. And I know that we'll see a part of that in Supergirl, won't we? Didn't they say that we would?
I have no idea. My question, too, is, sorry to cut you off so long, Mikey.
No, you're fine.
Do we think it's going to be a PG-13 or R-rated movie?
I think it'll be PG-13. I think the only things that they'll keep, like, that's, like, more adultish is the series. Because, like, I did hear that Guy Gardner will be in the Lanterns series, but he does drop some F-bombs in it. And I'm sure we can expect both him and Hawkgirl to probably drop some language in Peacemaker.
Well, I mean, even, like, with Supergirl, though, if we... I get language can be thrown in PG-13.
Right.
But if we dive into, like, let's say we see a lot of deaths in the very beginning, wouldn't you want to put that in an R-rated way?
Yeah,
to make you feel the impact of why she, like, is kind of scarred from everything that she's seen, and that's why she has this drinking problem, is from seeing all these brutal deaths. So we want to understand what was so brutal behind them, other than, you know, just dropping or cutting somebody, like, slightly, or poking out.
The thing is like, and this is probably my best argument with that is, you know, they don't have to show the audience, like, what she sees. Like, they can portray, or they can pretty much entail what's going to happen, but we don't have to see it happen, I guess you could say. I mean, yeah, we could. It would, you know, actually show us, but, you know, they're workarounds, right?
Well, I mean, too, if you think about it, like with the Creature Commandos, that wasn't a little kid show, right?
No, not at all.
That was a more adult-themed show that was meant for the 18 and up group, right?
Right.
And also, whenever I think of a movie of Supergirl, and maybe there is a way to get around it because you have Krypto, I also imagine the fact of she's on a different planet. Let's say no one knows who she is, right?
Right.
And let's say that there is a guy with bad intentions that wants to do some things to a good-looking girl in a short skirt. Right. I think you get the gist of what I'm saying now.
Yeah.
So that, and she's not her cousin. She doesn't see people the same way. So there's a good chance that we might see her also end up killing someone, or, you know, breaking their arms or breaking their legs. Right. So to me, it feels more so like it should be an R-rated film.
I see you on that. I can understand that. But,
Mikey, apologies again for cutting you off. Do you have anything else on the Supergirl thing?
Well, I was just going to say, and you brought up an interesting point. Her partying could be interpreted in a number of ways, but back to what I was saying, characters can be multifaceted. It doesn't just have to be one. Her partying could be perceived as youth, juvenile in its own way, fun loving, party having, joyous. On the other hand, it can be seen as a coping mechanism as well. These two things do not have to be separate, they can be the same. You can enjoy what you're trying to do. You can enjoy what you're doing and trying to get away from something else at the same time. That's the way people operate. And I wouldn't be shocked in the slightest if that's not how this might wind up getting portrayed. Not that she's some kind of loose, superpowered girl, but that she's running from her own personal demons, which
now,
is fair.
there's an actual quote from James Gunn, and it's about Supergirl. And he says that we will see the difference between Superman, like we will see the difference between Superman and her. Gunn said that who she was sent to Earth, well, Superman was sent to Earth and raised by loving parents from the time that he was an infant. But Supergirl was raised on a rock, a chip off Krypton, and watched everyone around her die and be killed in terrible ways for the first 14 years of her life, and then come to Earth. She is much more hardcore and not the Supergirl we used to. So I mean, it could be a completely different take, and Ridge, you couldn't be far off. Like you might not be too far off. So
Well, I mean, I think it's funny too because we see how different they are just in that one little scene. Because whenever she goes out the door, she says "bye, bitch" to him, and he doesn't respond that way, and even like the few times where you could see a spot for someone to cuss in Superman's spot, he comes up with the funniest ways to go about it. He says "what the heck" or whatever, he stays PG.
yeah, and like when he gets off the table after healing, he's just like, golly.
Yeah. I mean, if you've seen Supergirl do that, damn well she ain't going to just say, golly, geez, that hurt, or golly, geez, that wasn't fun. You know damn well she'd be like, fuck, son of a bitch, that was awful. I hate having to do that.
Yeah, Superman can get knocked through like 3 skyscrapers, dust himself off, and goes, "Jeez, oh, that's smarts." Okay, here we go. Supergirl gets knocked through 3 skyscrapers. She's laying smashed on some office flooring, and she's, ah.
And you know good and well that if they showed that exact type of scene in a movie, there would also be a little kid standing there or something in that area that she just went flying through, or something like off in the distance slightly, just watching her. Because they see another superhero, but this superhero has a bit of a potty mouth,
Yeah.
like others. But
Now, there isn't too much more to bring about the movie. So before we give our ratings, I'll let us individually go through and just give our overall like assumption of the movie. Like, yeah, we said our bits at the beginning, but now that we've said everything along with the story and everything, I'll go ahead and say your exact feeling and review, I guess you could say, of the movie, and give your out of 10 review at the end of it. Ridge, go ahead.
well, that sucks because I didn't go out of 10. I went out of 5 stars.
Well, that's fine too. It's the same thing.
Just because that's the way it's posted on Rotten Tomatoes, and a lot of times after I watch a movie, I'll try to get on there and post my star ratings on there as my quote-unquote review. I ain't got a lot to say as soon as I get done watching a movie. I'll just give you a good general idea on it. Same with this. It's a damn good movie. Not much to complain about other than the fact that at the beginning it felt rushed. It felt like, there were certain things that we didn't get into that we should have gotten into it or something. Like there were certain things that happened, but we didn't get to see it happen. So and that followed through with a couple of other spots in the movie. Do I think that James Gunn probably made a little bit longer of a movie? Yes, absolutely. But more than likely, Warner Brothers said, no, we can't have it as this long of a movie just because of the fact that this is our first movie back in. So let's see how it does and, splice it where you can to where it makes sense, but, don't splice it too much. But overall, rating wise, I think this was, to me, 4.5 stars out of
Okay.
5.
Okay. Mikey, what you think?
Infinite stars out of some other much smaller number. Fantastic. I know I said it before, and I'll say it many times again. This is my Superman. My favorite version of Superman has always been Big Blue, the Boy Scout, the Starman, the symbol of hope, the man of tomorrow, the optimistic, empathetic Superman, the one who hurts, the one who loves, the one who flies into space often to look at the earth and listen for someone crying for help or crying out for Superman. The man that the kind of hero humanity doesn't deserve, but we are blessed to have. This this is my Superman. This movie has made me love Superman again. At first I really liked the Superman, but what if he snapped or what if he was evil trope because it really turned what he was supposed to be. I was like, oh, this is cool. This is kind of edgy. But it got so overplayed so fast, and I felt like I've just been stuck with it for years. So it's so refreshing to have Superman as he is meant to be, a hero of the people, a hero of our hearts. And the supporting cast, the rest of the movie just drove it the rest of the way. Oh, I have no notes. I have no criticisms. Only endless glazing like I work for Krispy Kreme.
All right. And now mine.
Sorry.
I think I like off a part of what Mikey said and what Ridge said. This movie is it's phenomenal. I would say it's a masterpiece in my personal opinion because this is the. I mean, I love Man of Steel. Don't get me wrong, but this is how Superman should be portrayed. This is how Superman should act. This is how Superman should be. And I've never seen a version of Superman that made me feel this way about the character and the hope that the movie gave. The way that this movie felt, it almost felt like it's like the feeling that you would get watching the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, minus the nostalgia, right? It's just like minus the nostalgia of those movies, the true meaning behind those movies, especially the second movie, and honestly, the first two, just mainly specifically, it's just like how deep the characters are, how much they take from the comic books, how much is just beautifully done and crafted. I have to give it a 10 out of 10, just because of how like it's not even recency bias, man. It's just so beautifully well crafted. I mean, at the lowest I could really take is somebody saying 4 to 4.5 stars, because I can understand some things, but for me, I thought it just all flowed greatly. I thought the way he looked when he flew was amazing. I thought the CGI was awesome. I thought it was just done and well crafted. The characters were beautifully done. And everything is just it's a masterpiece, and I'm excited to see what James Gunn does with the rest of the universe, because he started it off on the right foot, and this is what fans like DC fans have been asking for. Like, minus the Snyder Cult, this is what DC fans have been asking for, and I'm just proud of the movie we got as a superhero fan in general. We got a superhero movie that just it's cut from a different cloth, man. It's an amazing movie. Y'all need to go watch it. So, anything else that needs to be said, guys?
Yeah, real quick, I have an interesting tidbit for you guys.
Okay.
So take a wild guess. And I don't know if you know or not, so that's the reason why I'm saying take a wild guess. Take a wild guess as to how much Superman made on its opening night, meaning Thursday night.
Was almost, what was it, like 20 something mil? Or something like that? 27 point something mil or something like that?
Mikey, you got a guess?
$1 billion. That's
Don't.
right, I made the number up.
I was gonna say I don't think that exists yet.
That's
I'll
right,
let
I
you
made it
know.
up.
So Superman on its opening night made $22.5 million.
Yep.
This has the highest opening out of any movie this year. And also, to put it into a kind of a perspective for you too, and the only reason why I'm saying this is because I just heard the news about this here recently. That also made more than the Barbie movie made in its opening.
Damn.
Which made, I think, 19 or something like that.
And the movie is also officially at 122 million in America and 95 million overseas, so it makes it 217 million dollars at this very moment, which officially I believe puts it over what Man of Steel made.
And also, I found it the main thing that I found interesting too.
Never mind, I was wrong, but go ahead.
Oh, sorry. At the very beginning, whenever we're first reading about Superman and everything, there's a certain shot that you see that reminds me of Man of Steel. You know, whenever he's out in the Arctic and he's putting his fist down on the ground to make, and it shows the rocks rattling. They show just the ground right there with a couple of rocks on it. The exact same way.
Right, yeah.
Except without them rattling because Superman's fist being on them.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a little cool Easter egg in there. But anyways, that's all I have on it.
Mike, you got anything else to say about the movie?
I do. My final thing to say on the movie is, please, sir, I'd like some more.
Not for real. I mean, just go watch the movie, guys. If y'all made it through this review this long, you're pretty interested, or you've already seen it. So if you've seen it, comment what you think about the movie and tell us what tell us your thoughts. And if you haven't seen it yet, and I don't know why you sat through and ruined it for you, but go watch the damn thing. Support the movie.
It's good for your soul.
All right, guys, that was our review of Superman 2025. Like I said, if you made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, grab somebody's phone, and subscribe for them. Just do something. But yeah, we hope you guys enjoyed the review, and we'll see you on the next one.
Hold on. Real quick, sorry. Guys, just wanted to throw it out here because I don't know if it was on the post or not that Slater made. We are not doing a podcast episode tonight, so there will be no live podcast for tonight. We are eventually, I don't know whether it's going to be, hopefully, maybe it's according to if we remember or not. This next coming up weekend, we will be doing our theme park episode again because we haven't done that in forever and a fucking day. And of course, there is some news out there that we gotta talk about. Give you a little hint: it's going to be all Disney related. So if you like Disney, definitely hop over whenever that drops and give that a watch too. Yep. Other than that, the other thing I was going to say, sorry. Guys, don't forget, we don't ask for super chats. We don't have a Patreon group or anything like that to sort through your comments or anything like that. If you want to leave us a comment on our YouTube channel while we're live, we will answer them. all right, without having to give us some money or tip or anything.
Yeah.
That's right,
And
baby. We
also,
do it for the love of the game. The love of the
and,
game, baby.
and also, we have a Facebook page that if you want to there too, you can also put in a question, and we might read it out on the channel.
Yeah.
Or we might end up just answering you there. And it's actually us too, so you don't have to worry about it being someone else that we have hired off to the side or anything. You know it's going to be one of us out of the group. Or it could be all of us giving our own input on it.
Yep.
So
Whoa.
just want that to be thrown out there for you guys.
All right. Well, guys, again, if you made this far, like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you next time. See you guys.
Disney World.